Well, good morning. Welcome to Integrative Preparedness. How are you all today? I'm Steve Smith, and I want to talk today about the impending financial collapse, which very well could be here. It's the one that I and some others have been talking about for years. It's going to destroy a lot of people. Hopefully it won't destroy you. It's one of the things for which people should have been preparing for years. Some think that they have, and they've been doing it wrong, and they're going to be wiped out. I hate to say that. I hate to think about it. I've been warning against that, but I'll tell you right now, there is a lot of bad information out there. On YouTube and on the internet, a lot of bad financial advice, and particularly a lot of bad financial advice in the prepper community. Too bad, but I'm going to address that today. And one of the things that I'm going to stress is that while this potential financial collapse, and I say potential, although it looks like it's pretty assured, is going to wipe a lot of people out, there's no reason that it has to wipe you out, okay? And it's just a matter of taking the proper steps. Am I cutting off the top of my head there? I don't know. Let me just say that. Before we get into it, I want to make kind of an important announcement. As you all know, this and all of my videos are brought to you by the Stonemont series. These are my books. I think I have them in the wrong order here. Yes, I do. Well, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. That's what they are. The Stonemont series, my books about how to prepare for, how to survive, and how to rebuild after a total collapse. This happens to be about a total collapse of the world, but it also applies if you are prepared for this, you're prepared for what's coming today. The most recent, the latest book that is out, Hostages to Fortune. It is booming. The sales are booming. It is setting a record every day for sales. If you haven't been with it, and for those of you who have already read it and gotten back to me, I'm glad you enjoyed it. Yes, I'm writing faster to get the next one out. For those of you who may not be Stonemonters with us, just a second. For those of you who are, I have a special announcement in half a second. And for those of you who aren't, this is the 6th of the Stonemont series. I have, like I said, I have them out of order here, and I should have put them in order, but I didn't because I was showing somebody something. But they are the reversion, the revival, the renewal, an appeal to heaven, the blessings of freedom, and now the hostages to fortune. All of them available through from Amazon and from me. The links on how to get them are down below. And you can get them from Amazon very quickly in both paperback and Kindle. And as I announced, The Blessings of Freedom is the first one to also, in addition to Kindle and paperback, to be offered in hardback. This is the hardback. And I am going to go through the process of making all the others available in hardback. Not sure how long that will take. I always have 9 million things going on, and as I've told you the other day, I'm in the process of writing 3 books right now. The seventh? The 7th in the Stonemont series, and then a couple of more. But I have something before we get to today's topic that I'm particularly excited to announce to you all, and that is the Stonemont notebook. Some of you know that this came about as a result of Sherry Fancoli, who is one of our subscribers. She's one of our members over on Patreon also, and she came out with a notebook, and she asked me for some advice, and I mentioned her notebook, and I also mentioned it over on the Prepping for Prosperity site, and it was such a great idea that I asked her if I could steal her idea, and she very nicely said yes. So I did, and I just got the proof copy in. It looks great. What it is, it's a notebook for you to keep, your journal, your notebook. For you real Stonemonters, I'm gonna tell you a special here in just a second. A special for Stonemonters. Lists, notes, your thoughts, plans, everything like this. I'm going to tell you kind of what this is. It says right here, Stonemont, where life is good. And they just did a beautiful job. It's a matte finish, and they did a really good job. It says notebook, and I kind of made that differently than just, I like that, notebook, rather than just notebook being one word. I thought it was kind of catchy. On the front, well, I'll read to you on the back what it says here, and this is what it's about. For those for Stonemonters, you'll enjoy this. For those of you who aren't Stonemonters yet, this will help you understand. So Stonemont is a world apart from the collapsing world surrounding it and the crumbling society that has devolved to the point where celebrity is valued over ability, corruption is tolerated while character is attacked, and death is promoted over life. Don't we see that in our society? At Stonemont, a literary, virtual, and real-world community, the foundation of faith, family, and friends supports the ideals on which our country was based, but from which it has strayed. Stonemonters, those who have read the Stonemont series or are reading it, share those values and find within the pages of the Stonemont series a world they prefer to the decadent and crumbling world around them. It is a world of personal responsibility, worship of God, dedication to family, contribution to community, compassion for and assistance to others, and a celebration of the human spirit. Use this notebook to record your thoughts, keep your lists, and make your plans as you build your own Stonemont and enjoy the freedom that comes from separating yourself from a world that is crumbling around you and live the life of self-determination God intended for you. Now on the back, it has one of my favorite Bible verses. It's Psalm 127, verse 1. It says, "Except the Lord build the house, they labor in vain that build it. Except the Lord keep the city, the watchman waketh but in vain." And I talk about that more over on the Prepping for Prosperity and the Stonemont Church channels. On the front, and then it also has the website down there that we're putting our new website up, stonemont.us. And it has a lot of the information, books for sale, and all that. Our t-shirts are going to be reintroduced. On the front of this down here is one of the secrets, and I'm going to be talking about how to make, I don't want you all just to survive this financial collapse coming up. I want you to thrive in it. I want you to do better. I want you to see the opportunities in it, and I'm going to explain that in a minute. I want you to see the opportunities in it, and I want you to use this as a way to build greater prosperity in your life, okay? And it can be done. Yes, it can be done. And on the front of this, it says, "Commit thy works unto the Lord, and thy thoughts shall be established." And what that means is commit your work to the Lord, and your plans will succeed. That means that's from Proverbs 16:3. Now, that doesn't mean that, okay, Lord, I'm doing this for you, and now I'm going to get rich. No. That's not what it means at all. It means that you follow, you ask for God's direction in what you're doing, and ask His blessing according to His direction, and you're going to do fine. You follow God's direction in your life, leave the consequences up to Him, and you're going to come out just fine, okay? And inside, it's just a notebook. It's a place for you to write, to keep your notes, and I've already used mine, the one that I got from Sherry, and so anyway, so this is available now. It's going to be available on Amazon. This is $9.99. However, for anybody who orders the entire set of the Stonemont, and I know that there are many people out there that have ordered them in the past, but also order them as gifts. But for those people, and also new people, anybody who orders the entire 6 books from me. Now, I can't do this through Amazon. Okay, they won't. If you do it through Amazon, I can't give you the free one because there's no way to work that out. But if you order them directly from me, which I put the address down there and the information on what it costs, where to send the money, they're $15 a piece. I include all of the postage and handling and all that, so it's about the same. It's a better deal, to be honest, than Amazon. You get them faster from Amazon, but you can't get the autographed copies from Amazon. You get them from me. So everybody orders the entire set, all 6 books. This will be coming in the package for you for no charge, free. Free for you as a stone miner when you buy the entire set. And I think that just came out beautifully, don't you? Yeah. So I've got a bunch of those ordered and they're on the way. Just awaiting to stick them in your envelope, okay? And if you just want to buy the one from me, yeah, you can. You know, it'll be $9.99 or just $10. $10, and I include the handling and postage and all that. Okay, let me clear my throat and I'll start on this today. Okay. Sorry. Okay, sorry, it's too early in the morning and I haven't had enough coffee yet. Okay, for the guy that's going to say, you just spent all that time hawking your books and stuff like that, guess what, pal? That's how I make my living, and that's how I've prepared to weather this coming financial collapse. That's called capitalism, dummy. So I'm glad you're gone, and I'm waiting to see your idiotic comment down below about, you just want to sell your books. You're right, I do. That's why I wrote them. Now to the rest of you all, you good people. This collapse looks like it could be coming. I've talked about it for well, quite a few years. And I have, and it could, this collapse could make the last one look like nothing, the 2008 collapse. And everybody pretty much knows what's going on. SVB Bank, or Silicon Valley Bank, was taken over, was put into receivership by the Fed. They found out that they had a bank run. They didn't have enough deposits on hand to satisfy the requirements. The regulators looked at it. Now through this, a couple of other banks, Wells Fargo had a problem. All of a sudden the other day, I think it was just yesterday, a lot of people, big people, weren't able to get money out of the bank. A couple of other banks, large banks, have been found to have inadequate reserves for the regulators' pleasure, and they are in danger of being taken. What this will cause is a cascading effect potentially through the banking system. Now, and I'm not going to get too technical, I'm going to say a couple of things, and then I'm going to get back to what this means to us as preparedness people, okay? And this is important. The root cause of this was the overprinting of money and the quantitative easing that's been pumped out for, 10, 15 years. You can't keep printing money. And this is the danger of having a central bank that's not government pumping out your currency. Our currency has been devalued for years and years and years and years. People who weren't paying attention thought that this was great, that all this free money that they got during the shutdowns and everything, they thought that was just wonderful. What it was just a continuation of quantitative easing, and that's pumping phony money into the system. And of course, when you do that, you make the money that's there worth less. So you're devaluing your currency. Well, the chickens have come home to roost, and they have been trying to slow. We've been put into this inflationary cycle by that. That's what causes it. Make no mistake. Along with this consumerism that has driven so much out there. What inflation is too much money chasing too few products. Okay, simple as that. So we've experienced the mess, and now we have experienced the mess being made, and now we're going to experience the mess. The Fed has been trying to slow down the inflation by increasing interest rates. It looks like they may, and Jerome Powell, who's head of the Fed, if you're not familiar with him, and the reason I'm getting into all this, because there's going to be a lot of people out here talking about this that don't know what they're talking about. And they're a danger, okay? You need to know what's really going on. Be careful who you listen to. So Powell has been trying to slow down inflation by increasing interest rates. Okay, that has put a lot of people in a trick bag. Okay, interest rates going up, 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 up. People are having a more difficult time buying houses, buying cars, buying anything. And now it looks like he started making noises that he might have to raise it what they call 100 basis points. All that means is 1%. That's a huge jump. That is a huge jump. And to try to slow down the inflation. But if he does that, it could have a counter effect to what he's trying to do. So now they're trying to think of, well, should we lower interest rates? And if they lower interest rates, that is just going to expand and explosively increase more borrowing, which is going to exacerbate the problem. Okay, is that complicated enough? That's what's going on. What it means to you. Now, I'm going to lay out just a few things, superficial things here that are going to help you if you will listen to them and if you will go with them. Okay, I'm going to tell you right now that I put that Prepping for Prosperity channel over there. I'm going to be putting a lot more there. Why, Steve? Why won't you put it here? Very simple. The reason that I had to put that channel over there is because too many people in the prepping community, whenever I would talk about money, whenever I would talk about for instance, don't invest in that. Gold is not a good investment. I would get just slaughtered with comments from people who got all their information from a William Devane ad telling me how gold has been money for thousands of years and you don't know what you're talking about and all this kind of stuff. Guys, I do know what I'm talking about, and I want to help you. Too many in the preparedness business world don't know. So I'm going to be talking about specifics over on the Prepping for Prosperity channel. If you want to know, because I want to help those people who have joined over there are the ones who really want the information. How do I become more prosperous? How do I do it even during a financial collapse? And I'll tell you something, a financial collapse is one of the easiest times to build wealth. Right here, 80% of the people, I don't mean to be mean, but 80% of the people on this channel are going to be going, well, I will say, no, that's not possible because so-and-so says different. Guys, I've done very well over the years. Listen to me or don't, your choice. And that's one of the reasons that a lot of people, didn't listen to me before, because well, he does too well. He doesn't live in a shack in the woods. What does he know about preparing? Yeah. Okay. So I'm going to give all of the specifics over on Prepping for Prosperity. The link is down below. If you are serious about this, and most aren't. So I don't expect to see most people over there because most people just want to talk a game, not actually do it. And most people would rather complain about bad times than work to make bad times into good times. But for those of you who really want more information and want to know how to go about using this financial collapse to improve your position, welcome. I look forward to seeing you over there. Get over there to Prepping for Prosperity. Again, the link is down below. Now, let me get out the basics for those of you who are still here who haven't clicked it off and says, well, he said that gold isn't good and I don't. I've got a bunch of gold and I bought a bunch of gold and it's been money forever and William Devane says it is, and so I don't like this guy at all. I'm leaving. For those of you who are still here and actually want to learn, let me lay out some basics. The financial collapses coming out of these banks could cascade through every market out there. It's already going through the stock markets. It's going to go through the bond markets. It's going to go through the real estate markets. It's going to go through everything. The volatility of this can't be overestimated. There is no way to know at this time how bad it's going to be, how deep it's going to be, how long it's going to last. and how it's going to affect. The economic system is like a whole lot of springs and gears and things, and the effects that one thing can have cannot always be, understood as to how they're going to affect everything else. There's some general guidelines, but just figure that this is going to take everything down. It's going to wipe out a lot of people. It's going to wipe out a lot of people. There are going to be people losing their jobs, their houses, their marriages, their families. It's going to be horrible. It's going to be a bloodbath. Some people are going to be able to use this to come out very, very well. Now, if you've been listening to me for the last few years, you heard me say, don't invest in the stock market. Haven't you? Yeah. You've heard me say, don't buy real estate or land. Haven't you? That's right. And a lot of people did it anyway because it was high. Oh, it's going great. I got to buy stock. I got to buy land because that's what everybody's got. And after all, my grandpappy told me, buy land. God's not making any more of it. Well, grandpappy hopefully didn't tell you to buy land at the top of the market. Right? When grandpappy bought his land, it was low. A lot of times they were almost giving it away, no matter how much God made. All right? So don't fall prey to these cute little sayings and repeat them as if they're, the oracle. It all has to do with timing. The real estate market goes up and it goes down, and it goes up and it goes down. The stock market goes up and down and up and down. The trick is to know to never buy high and to try to buy low. Okay, that seems obvious, doesn't it? But too many people don't know that. Number one, if you have a job right now, I'm going to get back to that in a second. If you have a job right now, keep it. So many people have given up their jobs. All this quitting that's been going on since the lockdowns, all these people quitting, they're going to be killed in this. They haven't been making any money. The job markets are going to shrink like you can't believe. Right now, there's still people out there begging for workers. That's not going to last. If you have a job, keep it. If you don't have a job, get one now. It may not be the job of your dreams. Well, I don't want to do that. I don't care. You want to starve instead? You better get one. If you have a job, you might want to consider about getting a second one. Or starting your own business, which is what I talk about that's the main thing that I recommend. Start your own business and build it, because there are so many. You see, the money you get from a business, if it's profitable, which that's the only reason to have a business, unless you want to do it for a loss, and there's reasons for that. There's tax reasons for that. The benefits from a business are far beyond the money that you make from it. And I'm not going to get into it here, but that's what I talk about on Prepping for Prosperity. Build a business. Start a business. If you have one, build it bigger. If you don't have one, start it. If you don't know how to do it, I talk about it over there on the other channel. And I wish all of you would. Every one of you out there should have your own business. You know my story. You know that when they required the you-know-what for everybody to keep their jobs, Kelly and I said no. We lost our jobs. They couldn't believe that and I had a good corporate job. I didn't need it, to be honest. I didn't need it. That's why I was able to give it up. Why didn't I need it? Because that's not what I do for all of my living, right? Okay. And I have other businesses as well. I insulated myself. This is a part of preparing. If you aren't prepared financially, you are not prepared. I don't care how many tourniquets and beans and rice and guns you have. You are not prepared for what's coming right now. Right? And what's coming right now was far more assured than the possibility of you needing a tourniquet. I almost said, does that make sense? It doesn't have to make sense. You see it coming, right? So that's the thing about businesses. Build your businesses. You have to be financially independent. That's important. Unless you're financially independent, you are not prepared. Okay, so that's the first thing. I won't talk about paying down debt and all that here. That I talk about that on the other channel, and I talk about how to do it. So I'm not going to get into that. Keep your job. Get a second job. The most important thing you can do right now is increase your income. Why? Oh, and by the way, I'll slip it in here. For everybody who thought that gold was a good investment, they're going to get wiped out. I had somebody ask me a question. I haven't gotten back to him yet. I think it's on the other channel about, what do you think about me buying silver? I think that it's the dumbest thing to do right now. Okay. There are times that there are times to where it makes sense to buy precious metals. Now is not that time. Okay. But it protects against inflation. No, it doesn't. But it's been used as money forever. No, it hasn't. Take your gold or your silver down to your grocery store and try to buy a can of beans. Try to mail your gold to your mortgage company and see if that'll work. Try to buy gas with your gold or silver. Stop it. Stop it with this stuff. All right? This is not this is not biblical times. Things have changed. But we can't, but fiat money has no value. It has plenty of value. It has the value that the person who agrees to accept it for a good or a service recognizes it too, okay? I remember the first guy that started yelling at me about fiat currency was back in the 70s. He was another cop, and he was going, oh, the Federal Reserve and fiat currency and all this kind of stuff. Yeah, there are problems with it. But do you know what fiat currency is? It only means that it's a currency that has nothing backing it up. And they say ours became fiat currency when it went off the gold standard. Well, there were a lot of reasons for that I could talk about for 3 hours that probably most people don't know. And it doesn't make a bit of difference, okay? We have a currency that works right now. The dollars are what everybody wants. If you don't have them, you're out of luck. If you don't have them, you better get them. Okay, I don't care if they're fiat or not. And other things, and again, gold's not fiat. It's not any kind of currency. Okay, it's a commodity. And if you don't understand the difference, you shouldn't be on here talking about it. Okay. A currency, I don't care whether it's dollar bills or shiny pebbles or sticks with designs, carved in them. If somebody will take that in exchange for a good or a service, it's currency. It's money. Okay? I know I'm getting a little harsh here, but damn, I am so sick and tired of the idiotic comments that I hear made about money and finance from people who haven't a clue. And I want to help you. Okay? I want you to do better. Okay? All right. That's what preparing is. It's not going around following stupid advice. It's actually preparing, getting your ducks in a row, and financially is so important. So that's what you want. Why do you want? You want as much money as you can get, and you want it safe. Get it out of the bank. And don't leave it in the bank. Now, most of you would be fully covered by the FDIC, which covers deposits up to $100,000, right? Most of you don't have more than $100,000 in the bank, okay? If you do, hopefully you have it in separate accounts, okay? Did you know that 93% of the deposits in SVB, in the Silicon Valley Bank, were not insured? 93% were not insured because they went over the limit of what the FDIC will guarantee. That means that there's 93% of all that money is at risk of being lost completely. Okay, but back to you. You want to build up as much money as you can. Don't keep any, I've always said, don't keep more in the bank. I don't keep more in the bank than I need to pay my monthly bills. And when I have too much in the bank, I pull it out. When I need a little bit more for something, if I want to, pay for something with a debit card, I put what I need. Be in charge of your money. Don't let it sit around without you knowing what's going on with it, And that means keeping an eye on it, moving it back and forth, whatever you need to do. Keep your money safe. Keep your cash safe. Now, as inflation grows, yes, inflation eats away at the value of your money. But you know what? If you have a good chunk of money, 6% inflation is going to eat away at it at 6%, but you're still going to have 94% of its buying power. And you may need that. As this thing goes into the tank, this could cause a collapse like the Depression. Do you know what happened during the Depression? You've heard the stories of a pound of bologna for a dime, a loaf of bread for a nickel, and you've said to yourself, wow, I wish that I could buy stuff at that price with the money I have today. Well, you might be able to, as long as you can keep your job and you have savings, okay? And on the other channel, I say one of the first things to do is pay off your debts. Now, maybe not right now. We'll see. I was with credit cards and things like that. You might want to make sure. Well, I'll get into that. It gets more complicated for this channel. Too complicated. This might drive things down into a deflationary, which means money is worth more. A deflationary depression. If you've got money, the money you've got today, and you've hung on to it, and you didn't go out there and buy stocks when they were high, and you didn't buy land and real estate when they were high, and you didn't buy, new cars and things like that, you're going to have a lot of money. Guess what? You know what's going to go down? Stocks are going to go into the tank. Land and real estate is going to go into the tank. And then what do? You buy it. You buy it. That's how wealthy people became wealthy. A lot of people here will just immediately dismiss that. You know why? Because they're so used to being poor, they don't want to be wealthy because they wouldn't know how to handle it. That's sad. That's the old fear of success loop. That is too bad. But you know what? Getting ahead is so easy. Well, let me put it. It's so simple. It may not be easy because it takes self-discipline, but it's simple. Spend less than you make, save it, wait to invest when things are low. They will build your wealth when they go high. Now, I started saying several years ago, again, I'm just going to close with this. People would ask me what to invest in. I'd say nothing. Invest in nothing but guns, ammo, and food. Guns, ammo, and food. Those who did it, you've done well, haven't you? Right? And I said, wait until the housing market, the real estate market, and the stock market collapse, because they will. Because you cannot keep pumping money into an economy through quantitative easing and not have it devalue the currency until it collapses. There's a lot more that goes into this. I'm going to cover this on prepping for prosperity. But this is going to kill a lot of people. It's going to ruin a lot of people. There's going to be suicides. There's going to be families falling apart. There's going to be people losing their houses, their jobs, their cars, everything. It doesn't have to happen to you. Don't let it happen to you. Okay? Share this with your friends. Share this with your friends. If they watch it and they go, that guy doesn't know what he's talking about, you know what? They don't know what they're talking about, so stop listening to them. I'm giving you good advice on this. Okay, join us over on the Prepping for Prosperity, because that's where I'm going to get into this more. But for right now, just for those of you who are here, don't waste your money, save your money, make more money, sock it away, because the time has come you can use that money to make yourself more prosperous. And remember, This is brought to you by the Stonemont series, My Books, a complete guide in novel form and a great story. 6 current books about how to prepare for, how to survive, and how to rebuild after a total collapse. That means an economic collapse as well as a collapse of the world from a CME. You have the reversion, the revival, the renewal, an appeal to heaven, the blessings of freedom, and the newest one,